Hello, welcome back. In today's video, we'll speak about when should you hire an agency and what's the difference between a good agency and a bad agency. So my name is Yanni. I'm a seven-figure e-commerce seller. I've sold over $5 million on Amazon. I also own a full-service agency called eCommerceville where we do the full shebang when it comes to Amazon. We work with a little bit over 20 brands in pretty much all the categories you can think of. So let's get into the video. Today I want to speak about when should you hire an agency and what's the difference between a good and a bad agency. Now, of course, I'm a bit biased because I own a full service Amazon agency, but I am a seller first and I've been selling on Amazon way before I had an agency. And I've worked with agencies and I know people who've worked with agencies and I know agency owners. So I have a full spectrum of the space. Now, first thing before even thinking about hiring an agency is when should you hire it? And when should you hire it is very depending on your budget. What's your budget? Can you afford their monthly retainer? And if yes, then you can hire. If no, I wouldn't hire. Because let's say someone is asking for $1,000 to manage your ads and you don't have and you can't afford those $1,000, I wouldn't give them. If you can't afford that $1,000, even if it's a great agency, I wouldn't do it yet because you just can't afford it, because you'll be so afraid of losing that $1,000, and if they don't give you a return on ad spend right away, you'll be like, oh, but why are they not giving it to them? It's just not gonna really work out for you. I'll just make sure that you can afford it. If you can afford it, then you can really play. And the way I would see an agency is, and this is very important in my opinion, is first, do you have the skills of an agency? Meaning, can you do advertisement? Can you do listing creation, A+ content, Amazon SEO? And if yes, at what level? Second, if you do you have the time to do it? Third, if you don't have the time, can you train the team to do it? Now, if you don't have the skills, if you don't have the time, and you don't want to manage a team, you can hire an agency. I've worked with agencies before for a website for Meta ads, and of course, in an Amazon agency to a certain extent, we've collaborated as well. Because first, you can't know everything. If you're building a product, if you're a manufacturer of product, you probably don't know much about advertising or listing creation. So probably want to outsource that and make sure it's done correctly. And second, it's going to save you time and probably money, because if you need to put this in-house, a lot of the times having a very good ads person, a very good listing creation person, designer can be more expensive than the actual agency services. So that's why I think agencies can really save you time if they're the right one. But again, I would only hire one if I can afford one. There's a reason a lot of these big companies use agencies, because it's a big headache to first know how to do this at a high level. Second, manage their staff. With an agency, if it's the right agency, you outsource that and there's an actual team that does that for you. It's your team, but you don't have to manage it. And that's the best part, because they're your client. Very important here. When you decide to get an agency, how do you pick a good one and a bad one? So of course you go through the reviews, you check websites, you see if everything checks up. But that's not enough, because reviews can be fake. You can leave 50 different reviews on Google or 100 different reviews on Google. Those can be fake. The first thing I will check is, are they an Amazon specialist agency? Or are they just a general agency that has Amazon? Why is this so important? If they're a generalist agency, for example, they're an e-commerce agency that do Meta ads, Google PPC, social media, and they also do Amazon PPC, most likely that will be just one part of the department and they won't be that knowledgeable. Amazon is such a big space, so many things to know, so many details, that if you don't specialize, it's very difficult to be that good at it. And if they have a lot of other departments, probably their focus won't be there. So I would always try to find specialist agencies that do Amazon only, because just based on logic, they'll be much better because that's all they do. Second, I would make sure they know their stuff. And how do you find out that? You jump on a call with them and you start asking them questions. Now here it's a bit more complicated, because if you don't understand anything about Amazon advertising and listing, you won't know what to look for. But you can always do a quick research on YouTube and actually prepare some questions. Ask them, okay, when can I expect results? Now, what answer should you receive on that? First, if they need to analyze all your listing and all your stats for them to give you an accurate time frame. Second, you can never promise results. Anyone that promises you exact results and exact time frames, I would stay away, because you can be the best in the world in ads, you can be the best in the world with listing creation, but nobody can guarantee you X results by X time, because it doesn't work like that. Now, you can get better results than you expect, you can get worse results than you can expect, but all an agency can give you is an estimation, a forecast. They can do that if they have the conversion rate, the click-through rate, and all the relevant data. They can give you an estimation, but exact figures, promises, and guarantees, that is very difficult to deliver and very difficult to make sure it's accurate. So stay away from people who overpromise and, oh yeah, we'll 20x your business, we'll 10x your business. I would stay away from that. And also the questions I would ask is, do they understand the basics of ads? ACoS, TACoS, all the relevant terms, do they understand them? What's their ad strategy? Who have they worked with previously? If this happens, what do they do? If that happens, what do they do? Their overall strategy. I want to know if they're capable. If they're capable, great. Second, I want to see if these guys actually exist. Like, do I know the directors? That's why personal brand is so good, right? That's why agencies that have personal brands and they've seen on YouTube and videos tend to do better, because you know who you're talking to. There's a closer relationships than just on a random website or just an ad. So I do think it's very important to know that who you're talking with is capable and able. Another thing I would check is ask them how many clients they have, how big is their team. Because if they say they have 30 clients and have a team of 1 or 2, they're probably understaffed and they'll struggle with things. And it's very important also when you're going back and forth with them, how fast are they replying? Are they taking a week to reply or they're pretty fast? Because if they're taking a week to reply, they're probably overstaffed and they're not managing things right, and they'll take time to work. You want people that when you ask them something, they do it as fast as possible. Like the reply time to be fast, right? Of course, within reason. If you ask them at 10 p.m., don't expect an answer to that, but I'm expecting next day to get an answer. So check the reply times, check the time they take to answer questions, and check how good are they at answering questions. Choosing an agency, that's a partner. They take such a big part of your business. If it's a full service, they'll be literally taking care of from listing creation, listing optimization, Amazon SEO, and ads. So it's such a big part that they need to be right. And you need to be upfront with them. Look, I'll try out for 2-3 months, but after that, if I don't see results, I'll be out. They need to be upfront with them, but give them enough time. That's very important. Don't expect in 1 month to change. Yes, it happens in 1 month. Big changes can happen, but you need to give these agencies enough time. 2-3 months. You need to give them time to see actually if they're good or not. Because if you have so many listings to fix and your account is a disaster, it's going to be very difficult to fix it right away. It's going to take time. And of course, Amazon takes its time as well with changes and stuff like that. So key is give them time. Another thing I would be very careful is pricing, right? I would stay away with people who just want commissions, because people who want commissions are usually not the best. Meaning if they say, oh, I'm not going to take anything as a retainer, I'm just going to take a percentage of your profit. Anyone that's confident in their work will always ask a retainer. Now with pricing, this is tricky, right? Because I know agencies that are very good, but they charge very little. And I believe they just don't know how valuable they are. And I also know agencies that are very bad and they charge a lot. So price is not always an indicator how good they are. But usually super, super cheap, it's not an amazing indication, because either they don't know their value or they're not that good. But just make sure they're not doing commission only, because commission only, it's usually very tricky. I have never seen a reliable, serious agency that just does commission only for Amazon. I might be wrong, but I haven't seen yet. But to summarize this, very important. Make sure they know what they're doing. Make sure they're replying fast. Make sure they have a big enough team that can deal with what you're asking. Make sure they're not liars. Make sure they're not over-promising, and make sure they're not guaranteeing everything, right? They don't guarantee, oh, we're going to deliver this. Because it's, again, I cannot stress enough, this is a very, very big decision. So make sure I'm taking my time and give them the proper time. Give them 2 to 3 months to actually see what results are coming. Most important by far is, can you afford it? If you can afford it, do it. If you can't, don't do it. Because even if an agency looks great on paper, they might take you at the wrong time, or they're understaffed or whatever that is, and you're not getting the right results, and you might burn to the first 2-3 months without any real results. So that's why you need to be very careful. You need to be able to afford it, because if 2-3 months don't go well, you need to be able to afford for that money to lose it. So be very, very careful. It's a big decision. If you get the right agency, it can be life-changing for your business. If you get the wrong one, it can be life-changing for your business. So pick things very well. I hope you liked this video. A lot more to come. See you soon.